Good morning and thanks for choosing Fox 10 News on this Saturday morning. Happy July 31st. I am Gianni Navarro. Let's check in first with meteorologist Matt Barentine. And Matt, can you believe it? It's already the end of July.
And boy, is it going out in quite a big way here today, folks. We're talking about excessive heat, dangerous heat. Even for us, this is a bit much, okay? I know, and everybody, oh yeah, we deal with heat all the time in the summer. Sure we do, but this even for us is pretty bad. So it's rough going to be here for us throughout the day. Heat index values getting up 110 plus pretty easily across the area. That's why we have the excessive heat warning in this purple color, heat advisory in that orangish color there. I mean, we're looking at heat index highs, like I said, easily breaking 110 in many spots in the middle of the afternoon. So 113, 114, real possibilities out there in how it feels. Keep in mind, heat index just basically means the sweat. You can't sweat, or you sweat, but you don't. It doesn't evaporate. It basically short circuits your body's natural cooling ability, and that's what makes it so dangerous. So we know this, but I'm just going to reiterate it. Stay hydrated. Stay hydrated and stay hydrated. That's the big thing. Frequent breaks, and of course, just trying to stay inside the air conditioning through the hottest part of the day. Right now, where are we at? We're already in the upper 70s and low 80s. Look at it, Destin already sitting at 84 right now. Orange Beach at 82, Mobile at 77. The radar, there are some showers on there. Unfortunately, they're moving away from shore, so these aren't going to have any real impact on us. They're offshore, and it's going to be a fairly dry day. I'm only going to go with about 10% chance of rain today, so it's unlikely you see any rain. So we're going to remain quite hot through the day with just a few breaks in the clouds, sunshine out there, but not much in the way of rainfall here to cool us off. So here's the planner as we go through the day into the afternoon. You can see these temperatures really jumping on up. So these are the actual air temperatures. They should hit the upper 90s out there today. So that's what I'm talking about. Even for us, this is pretty extreme here this afternoon. You factor in the humidity on top of that. It's going to feel like 110 plus for that heat index value, excessive heat warning, excessive heat advisories as well. So take it easy out there in the hottest part of the day. Good day to maybe do that shopping for the upcoming school year and try to stay inside and in the air conditioning.
Matt, thank you. Breaking this morning, the man wanted in a fatal shooting last week in Jackson County, Mississippi, is behind bars. According to the Jackson County Sheriff's Department, 29-year-old Christopher Brown of Gulfport is charged with murder in the death of 36-year-old Nicholas Pittman. Investigators say that they found Pittman dead at his home on the 24th. The sheriff says the two got into an argument, and that's when Brown shot and killed Pittman. A local pastor remains jailed on rape charges. According to Mobile police, suspect Gregory Adams is a pastor of a church in Citronelle in Waynesboro, Mississippi, and it's where investigators say he preyed on victims through the church.
Gregory, do you want to say anything to your alleged victims?
That's 63-year-old Gregory Adams, who initially had nothing to say as he was being escorted to a patrol car. He's being charged with 10 felony charges, including rape, sodomy, and sexual abuse of at least 4 victims. Now, according to MPD, the alleged sexual abuse started when the victims were around 12 years old to in their early 30s. MPD got involved because the alleged sexual assaults happened in Mobile and believe there could be more victims.
Gregory Adams violated a sacred trust of this community, those that depended on him most. He preyed on and he took advantage of, but there's no level of comfort that I or anybody in this community can bring to those individuals that are victims that this crime was perpetrated against them by Mr. Adams. And again, there may be other victims out there, and so that we would hope and pray that if there are victims that are out there that by seeing this story, that it would give them strength to come forward so we can continue to build our case.
Sorry.
Adams there eventually apologizing to his alleged victims on camera before being taken to Metro Jail. This is a multi-agency investigation. The Mobile County Sheriff's Office and ALEA are also looking into this case. MPD says a mother left her 3- and 5-year-old child alone for so long they decided to try to cook food on the stove but started a fire instead. That mother is now out on bail.
The fact that these children were hungry and they felt like that they were old enough to turn on the stove and to try to cook. I wish there were more harsher charges we could bring against the mother for the behavior, because she could have lost both of her children to fire. You know, there's no excuse for a parent leaving a 3 and a 5-year-old home in an apartment alone.
Thursday, a neighbor called the fire department to the apartment near Cottage Hill Road, and the children got out fine. Shakayla Dillard is charged with 2 counts of child endangerment. Relatives are taking care of her children. Cocaine, heroin, spice, and marijuana all confiscated during a drug raid at a house in Pritchard by Mobile police. They told Fox 10 News they also found an arsenal of weapons at the Fairport Drive house Wednesday. Demetrius Kidd, Kendarius Welch, Raheem Catlin, and Anthony White, all facing several drug charges. Investigators say they could use your help stopping drug dealers. They have a tip line, and we've posted it on our website at fox10tv.com.
When it comes, though, to the technicalities of legislation, we just needed more time.
An eviction moratorium is on track to expire tonight. After the bill failed in the House last night, Democratic leaders scrambled throughout the day to find enough votes to extend the moratorium beyond the July 31st deadline, but had no success. A proposed renter protection bill was also rejected. Last month, the Supreme Court allowed the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention order to stay in place until July 31st, but said congressional action would be needed to extend it past that date. On Thursday, President Biden called on Congress to extend the moratorium to December 31st, but barring any last-minute action, the moratorium is set to expire. President Biden called on state and local governments Friday evening to, quote, immediately disperse rental assistance funds from COVID-19 relief laws ahead of the moratorium's expiration. Locally, the Mobile County Sheriff's Office official in charge of carrying out court-ordered evictions says that doesn't mean a high number of renters will be pushed to the streets on Monday.
No, it's not going to be a huge deluge, and the judges are going to work with tenants in order to kind of buffer this so that we don't have a huge number of evictions filed on August 2nd.
Sergeant John Spivey says evictions likely will increase gradually. The moratorium hasn't slowed the number of eviction cases in court. The Mobile County Circuit Clerk's office says there have been more than 1,850 cases filed since the beginning of the year. Most resolve themselves with tenants voluntarily leaving or working out deals with the landlords. The rest end up on Spivey's desk. Evictions have continued even though the moratorium, because sometimes the issue is more than non-payment. Renters also have to show that they have a good faith effort to pay, and that non-payment is tied to the pandemic. Now to the White House, who's defending its decision on vaccine push and mask mandates. A day after President Biden announced millions of federal workers must show proof they've received a coronavirus vaccine. President Biden's action comes as coronavirus cases are surging. The uptick is being driven by vaccine resistance and the highly infectious Delta variant. Deputy White House Press Secretary Karine Jean-Pierre says President Biden's decision is in line with the scientific facts.
So the vaccines work, that's the truth. We know masks work, that's the truth. They save lives and prevent spread of this dangerous Delta variant. So we need to help in communicating the actions we are telling the American people to take, and getting vaccinated and wearing a mask if you're in an area where there's lots of virus circulating.
Federal workers who don't show proof of vaccination must submit to regular testing, social distancing, mask wearing, and travel restrictions. The White House is trying to encourage private employers to follow suit as the pandemic shows no signs of slowing down. One Alabama health leader says COVID-19 is, quote, raging through Alabama. UAB Hospital's Dr. Sarah Nafziger says the surge is happening as a highly contagious strain races through communities where many have quit taking basic safety precautions. Nearly all of the more than 1,250 people hospitalized nationwide with the illness aren't inoculated. The doctor says Alabama now has the nation's highest positivity rate, and there's no sign the rapid increase in cases will end soon. Only 34% of Alabama's population is fully vaccinated, which is the lowest in the nation. With COVID cases skyrocketing across the board, 0 to 17-year-olds are seeing a drastic increase too. Now, according to the Mobile County Health Department, just because you are young doesn't mean you are immune from COVID-19. Since March of 2020, the 14-day average for 0 to 4-year-olds was 28 cases. In the past 2 weeks alone, there's been 168. Similarly, with the 5 to 17-year-olds, since March of 2022, the 2-week average was 119 cases. Now it's up to 569. A local pediatrician says she absolutely has seen so many more kids hospitalized for COVID-19 compared to a year ago.
It gets concerning because guess what is still out there? RSV, which is a common virus that we usually see in the wintertime, but now we're seeing it in the spring and the summer. And so we are having kids being admitted to the hospital for that. And then on top of COVID, and can you imagine once they all get together and it all starts mingling, and then you can have a catastrophe on your hands.
We reached out to USA Women's and Children's along with Infirmary Health on if they are seeing more child hospitalizations for COVID-19. They were unable to give us any data at the time, but Spring Hill said they have 0 child hospitalizations.